The Backdoor Roth IRA strategy, is it one that you should consider? I'm going to share the circumstances, that and more coming up. My name is Mike Bernardo, the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. Recently had a newer individual who reached out and came in to see one of our advisors here at KFG, and their income, they've sacrificed and they've saved up a significant amount of wealth, and they are max funding their 401ks. And during this initial discovery meeting called a needs analysis meeting to see, hey, well, how can we help you? What's going on in your financial life? What strategies are you considering? And is there some clarity, confidence, and creativity that our team of CFPs and tax professionals, insurance professionals collaborating together can bring to you? It's very, open and transparent conversation, and just, hey, how can we help? The question was asked, well, why aren't you funding your IRAs or Roth IRAs? And the response was, well, we make too much money. And I think that's a logical assumption, and it's very possible that these folks may have heard that from a tax professional or financial professional, because if you make above a certain amount and you have a retirement account available to you at work, then you are unable to contribute to an IRA and deduct it. Pause there was intentional. And if you make above a certain amount, you're unable to contribute directly to a Roth IRA. So very common conclusion that you might draw that says, well, if I make too much and I'm funding my retirement accounts through work, I can't contribute to an IRA. The problem is it's not true. That's not true. The emphasis there is you can't contribute to an IRA and deduct it if you make over a certain amount and are contributing to your retirement plan at work. And yes, you can't contribute directly to a Roth IRA if you make above a certain amount. Enter the Backdoor Roth IRA strategy. Now, you've heard this one before. We've talked about it a lot here on the Wise Money Show, but these folks weren't aware that their circumstance is the exact circumstance where this strategy may make sense. I think the idea of the Backdoor Roth has some mystique and some sort of appeal to it, simply because, well, it sounds like a fancy strategy, and I've seen people implement it when they didn't need to. I've seen people try to implement when it doesn't make sense. And now in this circumstance, I've seen people where it absolutely lines up with their circumstances, but they didn't know that that's where it would apply. So how's the Backdoor Roth IRA strategy work, and what circumstances would you consider it? So here's the premise, okay? Here's the premise in that scenario. Well, you make enough money, you make too much money, and are contributing to retirement plans available to you at work. That means you can't contribute to an IRA and deduct it, and if you make above a certain amount, then you can't contribute to a Roth IRA as well. So the Backdoor Roth as well still contribute to your IRA. You just can't deduct it because you make too much and are funding a retirement account through your employer. But you can still contribute to the IRA. It's just an after-tax contribution. You don't get to deduct it. And then after, it's got to be 2 steps, okay, per the IRS regulations. After you've made that after-tax contribution to your IRA, you can then decide, well, you know what, let's convert that money from my IRA to my Roth IRA, and therefore transferring that after-tax money from that IRA account into your Roth IRA. Bam, you've just made a contribution to your Roth IRA, but not through the front door, going around to the back door. Now, there are challenges and there are issues with this where some people aren't aware of these challenges, and they may say, oh, well, yeah, that makes sense. That's what I'm going to do. And now they've just created a big mess for themselves and a big tax liability as well. So let's talk through the circumstances where this would apply. Well, the obvious one is your income is above those limits. If your income is not above those limits, then just make a normal Roth contribution, okay? If your income is not above those limits, make a normal Roth contribution. For 2023, if your adjusted gross income is above $138,000, then you're limited on how much Roth contribution you can make, Roth IRA contribution. If it exceeds $153,000, you can't make any Roth IRA contribution, okay? For married filing jointly, $218,000 all the way to $228,000. That's the phase out. You can't make any Roth IRA contribution if your income's above that. If your income's above that and you want to fund a Roth IRA, that's where you've got to consider, well, should we do a creative strategy, a backdoor Roth strategy? The second circumstance, and this one isn't a requirement, but this is where a lot of people get caught in the weeds. Second circumstance is, not only is my income above those thresholds and I want to fund a Roth IRA, I don't have any pre-tax money already in an IRA. I don't have any pre-tax money already in an IRA. And let me tell you why that's an important circumstance, okay? And when you contribute after-tax money into an IRA, and then when you go to convert that to the Roth, you're unable to take just the after-tax money and convert that. Say you've got $5,000 of pre-tax dollars already in an IRA, and you contribute $5,000 of after-tax money to that IRA, and then so now you've got a balance of $10,000. 5 is pre-tax, 5 is after-tax that you just contributed, and you want to convert that $5,000 of after-tax to your Roth. You can't just take that $5,000 of after-tax money and convert it. The rules are that your IRA balance, all of your IRAs are aggregated together. And when you do that conversion, the proportionate ratio of pre-tax to after-tax dollars is what comes out. Therefore, if you contribute, again, if you've got $5,000 of pre-tax in your IRA already, you contribute $5,000 after-tax, now you've got a balance of $10,000 and you want to convert $5,000, then you convert $5,000, $2,500 of that is pre-tax and you're going to have to pay tax on it on your return. The other $2,500 is after-tax and it's not taxable. So having a pre-tax IRA, it's not a prohibitor where you can't do this strategy. It just means it's much less beneficial, and for many people causes you to say, yeah, I shouldn't do this. So imagine you've got from old 401ks and old retirement accounts, you've got $500,000 saved up in an IRA, and then you contribute $6,500 after tax into your IRA. You then do a Roth conversion. Very little of that is going to be after tax money, and you'll be left with a lot of pre-tax dollars and then this little bit of after-tax money in your IRA that you're going to need to track forever. Now, it may make a lot of sense, and we've done lots of talk shows about there's another creative strategy within there that you can do. It doesn't work in every situation, but this second circumstance is if you don't have pre-tax money in your IRA already, then the backdoor Roth IRA can make a lot of sense because you avoid this pitfall, you avoid this hurdle, this challenge. And then finally, I know we've done a little bit of rabbit trailing here, but the final circumstance in order to determine, well, does a backdoor Roth strategy make sense for you? Your income is above the Roth IRA contribution limit. You don't have any pre-tax IRA dollars already. And then third, you're already max funding your other tax shelters that are available to you. I've seen this before as well, where people are doing a backdoor Roth strategy and doing this more sophisticated strategy, but then you look at their 401k and they're not maximizing their 401k contributions. And it's like, well, yes, you could do this backdoor Roth, but why not just contribute the maximum amount to the tax shelter that's available? Or they're not maxing out their HSA. Well, there's a case to be made that your HSA is actually a slightly better retirement account than the Roth IRA even. And so looking at what other tax shelters are available and making sure that you're funding those appropriately before you consider a more advanced strategy like the backdoor Roth. This would be your tax shelter strategy, and I'd want to make sure that you're working with your CFP and that you've got that fine-tuned and you're contributing to the right types of accounts. Does the backdoor Roth IRA strategy make sense for you? If so, or if you think it might, I would work with a certified financial planner, a CFP that's doing comprehensive financial planning, and within that, they're emphasizing, they're working with you on your tax planning, maybe even working with your CPA to determine, does this make sense? When would it? How much should you do? And so on. Especially if you've got if that second circumstance is one that trips you up where you've already got pre-tax dollars. There's a few different strategies that you can consider with that. So work with your certified financial planner on that. If you don't have a CFP on your team, contact one on my team. Find us online, Korhorn.com. That's Korhorn with K, wisemoneyshow.com. You can find us there as well, or send us an email, info@korhorn.com. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.